Hey everybody, before we start this awesome video, we kindly ask subscribe to our channel, give it a thumbs up, and a comment would be so much appreciated. You guys don't know how much it helps us. It keeps us motivated and just wanting to share more great videos with you. Now let's jump on today's video. Why is Askeladd the best character in the whole series of Vinland Saga? Now, before I start talking about Askeladd, let me say the anime was pretty great. Did not expect that. I had a lot of fun watching it and would rate it around 8 out of 10. Now, let's start with the MC, which I don't think he's at all in the anime, Thorfin. He is a Viking and also son of Thor's whom he cares about a lot. Now Thor's was ordered to go to war by Floki, which was a lie. It was all a plan of assassination, and the one who was assigned to assassinate him was Askeladd. Askeladd was the leader of a group of Vikings who only cared for riches. His past was a mystery even to his comrades. Askeladd was not just a great swordsman, but he was also a great strategist. Askeladd became well known due to excellent planning and fighting abilities. Floki approached Askeladd, knowing that he would be able to get rid of Thor's even if it meant playing dirty. Askeladd was capable of fighting several men at once with his strength and insane stamina. He didn't care about who he was going to kill if it earned some good bucks, so Thor's went with 5 of the villagers to war, and Thorfin snuck into his father's ship without knowing, and when Askeladd encountered Thor's, there was a duel between them and he was overpowered by Thor's, but guess what they see? A child in the boat, and they take him hostage, of course, and thus Thor's loses and dies. And the one responsible for the death of his father was Thorfin himself, and he doesn't realize it. Then Thorfin swore to avenge Thor's death, and he began to live his life as a Viking. So let me get to the point here. Only in the eyes of Thorfin, he was a villain. Besides that, I don't think he is. Instead of a villain, I would call Askeladd an anti-hero at best. Askeladd's character was dominated in the series till the end of the anime, and I think he was the MC for the series. I admit he did bad things to the civilians and killed them, but it was all a Viking culture, it seems. This also somewhat ties into the fact that Askeladd in Vinland Saga is a Viking mercenary much of his life. Chances are, if you were a Viking in that given time period of history, you most likely would have an overall general disregard for what is right and wrong and would not really show care one way or the other for our morality system. Askeladd fits this criterion well. Askeladd is not an idiot. To start with, he is actually quite an intelligent man when it comes to battle and overall strategic thinking. He most likely knows if an action is inherently good or bad, depending on who is performing that action. Askeladd just doesn't care, as long as he ultimately gets done what is best for him. On top of the fact that he is a Danish mercenary Viking, taking any kind of atrocious hit job that will financially get him over to the next season or so, he actually comes to reveal that he deeply hates the Danes and his half-Danish heritage. It turns out that he was also half Welsh. This comes as a sort of revelation, and he also comes to say that he hates almost all of the Danish mercenary Vikings that have currently worked for him. Askeladd simply put up with his lifestyle. Another thing that helped him to highlight the character's anti-hero qualities is the fact that, at least during the majority of this first season and its arcs, Askeladd is essentially the main character. Now surely this will change, as we inevitably see Thorfin go through some character development of his own, as he can't stay an angry, hateful, and angst-ridden teenager forever. But for the time being, Askeladd has definitely been the most important figure of the series thus far. While being the center of attention of a series, the fact that he is right now means we've learned much more about him and has proven to be an anti-hero. Now, Askeladd is manipulative in nature. He has the mind to manipulate people around him. Let's start with his 100 army soldiers, which he manipulated and used them through his life, even though he hated them. Then, Prince Canute. This aspect of his character really starts to show in the latter stages once Canute evolves as a character. He has proven to Canute that he is quite useful as an ally in furthering their collective agenda. Although one can argue that Canute is merely a tool for Askeladd to achieve the future that he wants more so for himself than for the good of the world, This also adds to his reputation as the anti-hero. Askeladd shows he is politically and strategically manipulative, with a more recent example being when he uses Rangar's brother Gunnar to feed King Sweyn false information. Now lastly, I want to talk about the Thorfin and Askeladd relation. Now we all know how stupid Thorfin is. He just wants to have pointless revenge, which doesn't make sense. But Thorfin in the whole anime was kind of manipulated by Askeladd, just a little bit, and he definitely had a good use of him in his journey. Ironically enough, Askeladd becomes the closest thing to a father figure to Thorfin ever since his father Thor's murder. Askeladd indirectly mentors him, in the few ways that an anti-hero can mentor someone who aims to kill him, at least. An example of this is when Askeladd guides him in his fight against Thorkel, and even advises on why he loses so much against him and essentially what he needs to improve on. Now Thorfin definitely cared about Askeladd. We can see in the series, whenever Askeladd was in a pinch, he was scared and was afraid to lose him. We can see in his eyes his expression, but Thorfin didn't want to show it. He was in denial that he cared about him. Askeladd never had a family. He was a lone wolf until he met Thorfin. For Askeladd, Thorfin was a son figure for him, and he raised him and made sure he became a great warrior in the future. In the end of the anime, he dies, which was really sad for me. His past was pretty sad. I wanted him to conquer the goal which he'd wished for and journey together with Thorfin. But yeah. Lastly, I would say the character was pretty good. I considered him as an MC for the series, and a great guy, and not a villain. Thank you so much for watching this video. We'll see you on the next one. Stay safe.